I moved up to the heavyweight division, Tyson Fury been real quiet. Tyson Fury, where the fuck you at, pussy? Boom!
And I decided I started them, and I'm going to finish them.
Jake Paul has once again proven that he knows how to grab headlines, this time with a bet that has the sports world buzzing. On Tuesday, Paul released a video offering Mike Tyson, one of the greatest heavyweight fighters of all time, an extraordinary $5 million challenge. The catch? Tyson, 58, must last more than 4 rounds in their upcoming 8-round bout, scheduled for November 15th at Atant Stadium in Arlington, Texas. Should Tyson fail to make it to the 5th round, not only will he forfeit the hefty payout, but he will also be required to get a tattoo that reads, "I love Jake Paul." This provocative bet has injected a fresh wave of intrigue into what was already shaping up to be one of the most anticipated bouts of the year. Jake Paul, the YouTuber turned professional boxer, has made a name for himself by blending social media antics with legitimate boxing success, and this latest stunt is no exception. Paul's audacious offer brings with it questions of strategy, endurance, and psychology. It also raises the stakes significantly for Tyson, who, despite his legendary status, faces a unique challenge against a much younger and extremely confident opponent. Let's break down what this bet means for both fighters and how it could influence the outcome of the fight. Jake Paul made the wager public in a video that quickly went viral. In typical Paul fashion, the video is not just about the money or the fight, but also about flaunting his brash persona. In the clip, Paul is seen shirtless, lounging on a couch, stacking what appears to be bundles of cash on his exaggeratedly distended belly. The video, posted on the TikTok page of his gambling site, BTR, is a clear testament to his signature blend of showmanship and confidence. Mikey, if you can last more than 4 rounds with me, I'll give you an extra $5 million, Paul says in the video, addressing Tyson directly. But if you don't, then you have to get a tattoo that says, "I love Jake Paul." Deal or no deal? This offer instantly changes the dynamic of the fight. It's no longer just about the win-loss record. It's about pride, legacy, and a $5 million payday. The additional stipulation of the tattoo adds a layer of humiliation that Tyson would surely want to avoid. But what makes this bet so compelling is the strategic dilemma it places on Tyson. Should he go for an early knockout or try to outlast Paul and collect the money? Mike Tyson's legendary career has been built on his ability to end fights early. Known for his ferocious knockout power, Tyson has claimed 44 of his 50 wins by KO, many of which came in the early rounds. In his prime, Tyson was a terror in the ring, overwhelming opponents with his aggressive style, speed, and raw power. However, at 58 years old, Tyson is no longer the fearsome young heavyweight who dominated the 1980s and 1990s. Age and time are significant factors that cannot be ignored. Multiple boxing experts believe Tyson's best chance to win the fight lies in scoring an early round knockout, rather than trying to test his endurance against the 27-year-old Paul. Even with his extensive experience, Tyson's stamina could become a serious liability as the fight drags on. Paul's youth, combined with his improved conditioning, could give him the upper hand if the fight goes beyond the 4th round. Tyson, who last fought in a high-profile exhibition bout against Roy Jones Jr. in 2020, demonstrated that he still possesses power and technique, but the fight highlighted his diminished endurance. After the early rounds, Tyson's energy levels noticeably dropped, a clear indication that time has taken a toll on his legendary stamina. The question for Tyson is whether he can afford to pace himself and go the distance, or if he must rely on his signature knockout ability to finish Paul early. Adding to the pressure is the fact that Tyson has not publicly responded to Paul's offer, leaving fans and pundits to speculate on how this will affect his game plan. For a fighter of Tyson's stature, the idea of getting a tattoo that reads "I love Jake Paul" is undoubtedly distasteful, further motivating him to avoid losing within the first 4 rounds. But will Tyson's pride drive him to take unnecessary risks early in the fight? If Tyson's best option is to go for an early knockout, It means he will likely come out of the gate with an aggressive approach, trying to overwhelm Paul before the younger fighter can find his rhythm. Tyson's devastating body shots, uppercuts, and relentless pressure could put Paul on the defensive early. However, this aggressive approach carries its own risks. If Tyson is unable to knock Paul out within the first few rounds, he may expend too much energy and leave himself vulnerable in the later stages of the fight. On the other hand, Tyson could choose to fight more conservatively, using his extensive experience to frustrate Paul and wait for opportunities to land decisive punches. This would require Tyson to manage his energy carefully, avoid unnecessary exchanges, and try to drag the fight into the later rounds, where his veteran ring IQ could come into play. If Tyson can preserve his stamina and stay sharp, he might be able to capitalize on any mistakes Paul makes as the fight wears on. But does Tyson, known for his early round knockouts, have the patience to adopt such a cautious strategy? And can his body hold up for the full 8 rounds, or will he tire before he can collect on Paul's $5 million offer? Jake Paul's offer isn't just a publicity stunt. It's a calculated psychological play. At 27, Paul is in his physical prime, and he's been steadily improving as a boxer. With a professional record of 9-1, Paul has already proven that he can compete with seasoned fighters. Although his victories have come against a mix of social media personalities, retired athletes, and MMA fighters, Paul has shown that he possesses legitimate power and the ability to finish fights. Paul's brashness and confidence are key components of his strategy. By making this public offer, Paul is putting the pressure squarely on Tyson, potentially forcing the older fighter to make mistakes by trying to rush for a knockout. Paul is also sending a message that he believes he can not only win, but outlast Tyson in a long fight. The $5 million carrot dangled in front of Tyson could be seen as a clever way to bait the former champ into playing into Paul's hands. Paul's style in the ring has evolved over the course of his short boxing career. Initially seen as a flashy celebrity with more showmanship than skill, Paul has worked hard to refine his technique, developing a solid jab, better footwork, and a dangerous right hand. If Paul can survive the early rounds and avoid Tyson's power shots, he might be able to exploit Tyson's fatigue in the later rounds. Paul's confidence extends beyond his physical abilities. He thrives on getting under his opponent's skin. The potential humiliation of the tattoo bet is just another layer to this fight. Paul knows that his persona drives attention, and with every viral video, TikTok post, or bold statement, he increases the pressure on his opponents while fueling his own brand. This fight is about more than just the money or a tattoo. It's about legacy, pride, and the future of both fighters. For Jake Paul, a victory over Tyson would be the ultimate validation of his boxing career, cementing his place as more than just a YouTuber who dabbles in the sport. Beating a legend like Tyson, even at 58, would be a career-defining moment for Paul, who continues to blur the lines between entertainment and serious competition. For Mike Tyson, this fight is about maintaining his legacy. Tyson is well aware that his place in boxing history is secure, but a loss to Paul, especially one that forces him to bow to Paul's taunts, would be a humiliating way to exit the sport. Tyson has repeatedly said he's fighting for the love of the sport, but this fight represents more than just a paycheck. It's a test of whether he still has what it takes to compete against younger fighters. The added wrinkle of the $5 million bet only intensifies the stakes. Tyson must balance his natural instinct to seek an early knockout with the knowledge that lasting more than 4 rounds would bring a massive financial reward. But can he afford to fight cautiously, knowing that Paul is younger, fitter, and potentially hungrier? As the fight approaches, fans and experts alike are left to speculate on how this high-stakes drama will unfold. Tyson's decision to accept or ignore Paul's $5 million bet could significantly influence how he approaches the fight. One thing is certain, November 15th, 2024 promises to be an explosive night at Atant Stadium. Whether Tyson can last 4 rounds and collect the $5 million or fall victim to Paul's youthful energy remains to be seen. One way or another, the world will be watching, and the outcome of this fight could change both fighters' careers forever. Stay tuned for what promises to be one of the most talked about events in modern boxing history.